Hey everybody, welcome to another Conversation Live. It's Robert C. Stern with The Social Leader. Hope everybody's been having a great week. Today we're going to go over something that everybody, whether you're a solopreneur, entrepreneur, major corporation, does not matter. Whatever you do in business, you need to be doing this. You need to have somebody or a company following your reputation management. What are people saying about you on social media or on reviews on different sites? There's Yelp and many of these things. And I have the master of this, as I like to call him. I've met Ryan Steinolfson. Oh my God. We met during the first couple of weeks of Periscope, and we kind of techie type of guys got into how can we use this and how can we can we do conference calls on this. In fact, we did the first together live conference call on Periscope, and here he is, Ryan himself.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad to be here, Robert. Yeah, you were one of the first people that I watched on Periscope, and I'll never forget you doing that. I think you were one of the first people to do the 24 hours of Periscope, where you went 24 hours. I don't know if people know, I own a digital marketing agency. We're based out of San Diego. I just hit my 7-year anniversary. I've been getting all these LinkedIn, congratulation notifications from people every day, and I didn't even know it was my anniversary. And so it's been 7 years, and I'll tell you what, being in the reputation business for 5 of those 7 years, our business is like one of the grandfathers, if you will. I'm going to pull over here in just a second for all you people that are really conscious about, as I am, of driving. It's amazing, what's happened and what's changed and what hasn't changed. One thing that hasn't changed is the fact that your reputation, no matter what, is always important. The one thing that we all have is our reputation. That's the one thing that we have that nobody can take away from us. And whether you're a business or an individual, because your business, it really behaves like an individual. It's its own entity. That's why we have to incorporate. Basically, the sum of your employees can consummate your reputation as a business. It's the overall attitude, if you will, of your business that is being portrayed out there, that's being interpreted by the community, by your clients in particular, people that you serve, and they get a chance to give you feedback. Wow, what a concept. This is a democratic society. We're not in, I don't care what they say. We're not in China. We're not in communist Soviet Union. We're in the United States of America, and damn it, we're free. And we can say what we want, and it's freaking great. And this is why I am a capitalist, and it's why I believe in the capitalist system, is because we can give our honest to goodness feedback. And as long as it's in a healthy, constructive way, they're giving feedback is as important as managing the feedback. Because, and this is what I tell my clients, it's being open-minded to the feedback that you get as a company that allows you to grow as a company. It's whether or not listening with my 2 ears, God gave us 2 ears, for a reason. Are we going to listen to the feedback that we're getting as a company? Even if it's not so pleasant, even if it's not so easy to stomach, are we going to digest it and make changes as a result? What a gift that we get a chance to get feedback from places like Google My Business, Yelp, Bing, Yahoo, Merchant Circle, Yellow Pages, City Search. I can go on. There's about 68 different directories that make up the core directory solar system, if you will, that's out there, that are now the new Yellow Pages. You are old enough, I'm old enough, I'm not going to date you, I'll date myself. I remember the big yellow book, and now the only thing it's good for is a doorstop. And the reason why is because nobody's looking on there. Nobody's going to the big yellow book, and you don't know how to use your cell phone, and you don't know how to use your desktop or your laptop unless you've been living in the woods for the last 30 years. So bottom line is, That's where people are going to find information. Over 65 to 70% of people go to their smartphones to find new businesses. And guess what they find when they find your business? The first thing, look, they ain't going to your website. They aren't going, look, the stats are this. Guess, Robert, where people go 65% of the time first, before they go to your website and before they go to your social media? What do you think they look at first?
Oh, I would assume right away if they just Google what they're looking for, and I would think coming up on the search.
I'm saying after that. I'm saying after that. After they Google, let's say Accelerate Marketing, which is my business. Go ahead and look us up, Accelerate Marketing San Diego. And if you haven't done this, this is the one thing I'm going to stress for you is to do this one thing. If you take one thing away, and your city, so that you can pull up everything. When you do that, you're going to see what your reputation is. It's going to be front and center. Every directory that's important to your business, because different businesses have different directories that are important to them. Realtors have different directories like Zillow, etc. Attorneys have Avo that are unique and specific to their industry. So that's the yellow pages for their industry, if you will. Okay. Now, having said that, once you've done that, maybe some things you don't want to see. You might have a great reputation on Google, but maybe you only have 1 or 2 reviews on Yelp, and you've got a reputation on Yelp. Well, and by the way, if you have a 4-star or higher reputation, you have an 80% chance that somebody's going to look at your reputation, find your phone number, and call you up, versus only about 30% if you.
Ryan, it's cutting in and out a little bit.
Okay, so you're talking about a 50% difference between a 4-star rating and a 3-star rating for somebody to call you versus not calling you. Does that make sense, Robert?
That does.
Okay,
definitely.
So you're talking about a 80% to a 30%. 50% more people are going to pick the phone up and call you if you just have a 1 to 1.5 star increase. So do you think your reputation is important? Oh my gosh, yes it is. Because, and there's a Harvard study that showed that without changing any other marketing, without doing anything else, if all you did is increase in gross revenue for your business.
Yeah, you must be in an interesting zone area sitting in the car, because it's just coming in and out a little bit.
Okay. I'm going to move a little bit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, but it's a little choppy.
Okay. So again, the Harvard study found that if you had a 1-star increase in your reputation corresponds to 10% increase in your gross revenue.
So in honesty, I mean, we all talk about whatchamacallit, everybody thinks about Yelp and, like you said, Google, businesses online and stuff. But social media has its presence of reviews and situation also, right?
Yes.
I mean, LinkedIn, we're known for leaving testimonials and things like that. I've worked with this so-and-so and blah, 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 blah. But the thing that I like, the thing that's interesting, it's not that I like it. LinkedIn does it in a different way than everybody else. If somebody writes a testimonial about Ryan or about myself on LinkedIn, we have to approve it that it's shown.
Yeah.
Where everybody else, it doesn't matter what you write, it will show up.
Yeah. So you're saying LinkedIn. What were you saying about LinkedIn again? You're saying that LinkedIn, well, it's different because it's really, I mean, they've got business pages, but on LinkedIn, they're reviewing you as an individual, and it will show.
You got cut off again. You there, Ryan? Might have lost Ryan for a minute there. Yeah, I hear you again, but it's black. Might just be the area you're in right now. So what we were talking about, while Ryan sees if he can get this back up and join us on the Google Hangout on air, reputation management, how important it's become, that you're following and you're knowing what's going on out there. Because like he said, if you Google your name and your business and city, you will get a list of all the areas of what's going on. And that becomes the most important part now, because you need to see what is going on that's out there about you, about your firm. And also what he was saying was, when you do that Google and you look and you see all the lists that it comes up with, it's going to vary depending on your industry. Real estate, like you said, it's Zillow, it's Trulia, it's Realtor.com. Whereas in a mortgage side, it might be banking and financial and the MBA, the Mortgage Brokers Association. So there's different areas that your names and stuff will come up. So one of the aspects that we need to do is, did you get out of the, oh, there's a different picture all of a sudden.
All right, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right, so I'm actually just driving to a different area so I can get a better signal.
Okay, no, I was reiterating what you were saying about putting the name in and the company. Now, with companies, if I wrote Coldwell Banker and Tampa, that's one thing. But now let's say you're an individual doing business.
Yeah.
And a real estate or a mortgage person or a coach or any of these people. It's really more just putting in, if you don't have a name for your company necessarily except your name, it's putting your name and city in and seeing what's being said about it, right?
Right, exactly. If you're an individual, you put in, and that's a different type of reputation management. We call that reverse SEO, because I'm working with an individual, and we've done reverse SEO for a lot of individuals that, for example, have like legal cases against them or court cases that are still in the legal system, and there's PDFs that are in the legal, like the city, what do they call it? The clerk of the court. And the clerk of the court, all of those PDFs are legally searchable. They're legally indexed by Google. And if your name is on that court file, then that court file is being searched for and found, and people are opening it. Google sees that, and they see how much time people are spending on that court file. And if that court file has your name on it, it's going to show up in the search results for your name forever. It's like a bee's nest. If you hit a bee's nest, the bees are going to swarm. So if you hit that PDF a lot, then it's going to exacerbate that problem. And that one PDF document is like hitting that bee's nest, and that one file is going to be found every single time that people do a search for your name, because people are searching for your name. They're clicking on that PDF, they're looking at what it says, and they're taking a long time to read that article, and Google can see it, and Google is therefore going to rank that article high, because they're saying that, okay, when people search this guy's name, or this name in general, or whatever it is they're searching for, and they find this PDF, they're clicking on that PDF, and it's matching what they're looking for, and we know it because they're sitting there and they're camping out and reading that entire article.
And it's that algorithm, because the more people spend on a website, time-wise, it's a time thing. Algorithms work, there's many variations of the algorithms of what's involved with it, but time looking at something is actually a big part of it.
Yeah, but it's a huge part of it. It's been more and more a big part of it. It's actually more than just how much time. It's a combination of time and scrolling. Google can actually identify where and how far down the page that somebody scrolls. Therefore, what they're thinking is, well, shoot, if this person's scrolling all the way down the page in order to read the entire article, well, this article must be really important, because they're going all the way to the bottom of it. They're reading every single inch of it. And so this is very relevant to this. Think about it. I mean, that's how our brains work, right? I mean, it's Google's just trying to identify what's important and what's not, because that's how they make their money. If they give you the search results that you're looking for, They know that you're going to use Google, and you're going to ultimately use their ads and click on their ads, and that's what pays the bills at Google. That's why they're a billion dollar company, a multi-billion dollar company.
Right. So
So
what are things like? Let's talk about reviews for a second, because you know, I'm always asking clients to fill out reviews. I ask them to do it on LinkedIn. I may ask them to do it on Facebook, on the business page, to give the written testimonial, whatever, Yelp, all these different areas. And obviously, you always want the good reviews.
Right.
But when you take the good, you're always going to get some bad.
Right. So let me just back up. What I was saying before is your reputation is really important. Do a search for your business name in your city. That's how you're going to find out if I broke up before. That's how you're going to find out what your reputation is. Do that first and foremost. If you find out, and this is just grassroots stuff, if you find out that you've got bad reviews, let's say in the search results, let's say Google's 5-star, but you've got, and Yelp though, maybe you've got 2 reviews and you've got a 1 or 2 star reputation. Well, by the way, it takes about 12 reviews to offset every 1-star review. It takes 12 5-star reviews to offset any 1-star review on Yelp. That's about the equivalent in order to, just to give you an idea of the number of 5-star reviews that you're going to need to offset the number of bad reviews you have. I just want to give you an idea on that. So the other thing I pointed out earlier that I missed because I broke up was the fact that if you have a 4-star reputation or greater, you have an 80% chance that somebody's going to pick the phone up and call you. If you have a 3-star or lower, you have only about a 20% chance or 30% about chance for somebody to pick the phone up and call you. You're looking at a 50% swing in somebody picking the phone up and calling you. The other stat is that Harvard did a study and they found that for every 1 point increase, this is a 2-year-old study, this is actually probably increased since then. For every 1 point increase in your star rating, it corresponds to about a 5 to 10% increase in your gross revenues without changing anything. So your reputation is critical to your business. It's the one type of, it's not even marketing. It's not, and that's the difference. I want to distinguish between reputation management and reputation marketing.
Correct.
Reputation management is what most businesses do. At Accelerate Marketing, by the way, look us up. Go to Accelerate Marketing San Diego. You'll see we got 150 plus 5-star reviews. Why? Because we built it into my culture in my business. Every single employee, when we have our huddle meetings and what we call our level 10 meetings, every day, every time that we meet, I ask them, guys, when you have your strategy sessions with your clients around the world, are you taking the time to get reviews? How many reviews have you gotten? I reward them for getting reviews. They know, and I reinforce the importance of getting them by flat out paying them for getting reviews. So we build it into our culture. We talk about it unless you pay attention to it, it's not going to get any better, guys. Unless you have your company meetings and you go over your reputation for each one of the directories that really are killing your business, and unless you make it a priority, it ain't going to change. So that's the bottom line. That's the grassroots effort. And we pay just to let you know, we pay our employees, and it's totally within the terms of service to do this. And, Yelp can go fly because, they tell you that, oh, you can't, bull crap, you can't ask for reviews. You can absolutely ask your employees to ask your clients and patients and customers for stinking reviews. Take that, Yelp. Basically, they're not going to tell me how to run my business, and they can't tell me that I can't ask my happy customers to take the time to leave a review. If I want to ask them to leave a review, I'm going to do it, and I do every single day, and so do my employees. And I'm telling you to do the same thing. It's not against the terms of service. You can absolutely do it, and you cannot pay your patients, clients, or customers to leave your review. You cannot incentivize them. You can incentivize your staff, though, to ask and to make it really easy for them to remember. So I pay them $25 for a written review on Google, Yelp, or any directory, and I pay them $50 for a video testimonial.
If they get a client or somebody to do one, then they get a reward for doing it.
Exactly. and we pay them immediately. PayPal transfer, it's the first thing I want to pay them for. I want to reinforce to them that that is one of the highest level things that they can do for our company. And that's the reason why we've got 155.
I have a friend that I help out occasionally with their social media stuff, but they're at a dealership. And my friend actually runs the service department. And they actually have in play, I didn't even come up with it. They're doing it themselves. I said, that was ingenious of you to do. They have the whole dealership asking for reviews.
Yeah.
And guess what? Even if they don't buy a car or don't use their service or anything else, but if they get a review and they mention the person's name that they were dealing with, he gives them $25.
Yeah.
If Joe is the service manager and somebody writes on there and says, came in to get body work done, unfortunately decided on another place, but your man Joe was so nice to me, I just wanted you to know about it. So he didn't even give him the business. But because he went on and wrote something nice about what the service was like,
right. Yeah.
The owner gave him $25.
Right, and that's exactly so. I mean, and part of probably one of the most important things that we do as a reputation management and marketing company is that we have strategy sessions with our customers where we build their culture. So we actually have meetings with the team. Once I get the buy-in from our SPOC, our single point of contact, once the SPOC tells us, yes, Ryan, we buy into this concept and we're okay with a $25 bonus going to each employee. I had one client giving $50 for each review, and they had some of their this was just before Christmas. They were doing this for like 2 months. They got some employees that walked away with like $5,000-$6,000 of bonus money because they took the time to ask for reviews. Because look, if you've been in your business for a while, you've got a lot of strategic partners. You've got a lot of low-hanging fruit. People that know your business, like your business, they might not even do business with you. They just might be a strategic partner, somebody that actually works alongside of your business. Those people are totally okay to ask for leaving a review. That business has significantly increased their business they've been reaping the rewards. They've got more reviews than any other property management company in the world. They've got more than 320 reviews. When he first met me, had only 25 reviews, and in a matter of 6 months, went from 25 reviews to over 251 reviews. And he went from a 2.2 star rating to a 4.8 star rating in that same period of time.
And the phone started ringing better.
Yeah, well, he says, his phone rings off the hook. And what happens is, and what happened also is, and this is the little lesser known, this is the lesser known thing that people they don't know about, is that you actually get a double bonus. Not only does your reputation go up, you actually get better rankings on Google when you get Google reviews. You actually get higher rankings on Yelp when you get more and higher star rating Yelp reviews as well. So you rank higher on the directories and on Google when somebody, for example, types in personal injury attorney West Palm Beach, and you've got 150 5-star reviews versus your competition that's got maybe 20 4-star reviews. If everything else is equal in terms of SEO, the 5-star 150 review company is going to rank higher on the maps versus the company that had the 4-star 20 reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a fact. So you get a double benefit. Not only is there an increased likelihood that people are just going to pick the phone up because they know you've got a better star rating, you're also going to rank higher so that people are going to be able to find you easier. So there's a double bonus. If you're a local business and you're not paying attention to your reputation, you're really handicapping yourself. The first step is to at least claim your Google My Business page. Google My Business is 60% of the local business, local directory traffic out there. The reason why is because 60 to 70% of businesses go to Google to find local businesses. They go and they do their searches on Google. They don't do their searches on primarily on Bing or Yelp or Yahoo. The facts are the facts. I mean, 60 to 70% of people are still going to Google, whether it's on a smartphone or on their desktop or their tablet or their iPad or their whatever. They're going to Google. So that's where you want to get. That's where I would start first.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, it takes 5 reviews for your reputation, for your star rating to start showing up on the maps. That's the first goal that I would have, is to get 5 reviews. The next goal that I would have is to get 10 reviews or more, because the studies show that if you have 10 or more reviews, that's the number of reviews that it takes for people to trust your business and for them to know and for them to be able to make a decision about your business. If they don't have, think about it. If you go to a hotel and you only see 4 reviews, you don't really have enough reviews to make a decision. It's barely enough reviews for you to read and get a good digestible understanding of what the business is about.
I mean, the hotel industry and the restaurant industry is where all this star rating really started with before the internet. The 5-star hotel, the 4-star restaurant, blah, blah, blah.
Well, it was
books.
It was with Zagat, and Zagat was purchased about 5 years ago by Google, and that's when everything shifted. That's when everybody online started paying attention to these stars and the reviews, because they were like, wow, Google bought Zagat. I really diverted my attention from search engine optimization, and I integrated reputation with it because I saw the writing on the wall. I mean, you didn't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that if Google was spending the multi-million, if not billions of dollars to purchase Zagat, the most respected rating company to date, were shifting, and it was very obvious at that point that things were shifting from offline 4 years ago reviews to online and to the most powerful search engine in the world. So that's when we really started full bore with making it a really integral part of what we do with especially local businesses, or maybe multi-billion-dollar businesses, which we work with, that have multiple locations, multiple franchise locations. It's been my experience at those franchise locations. I know you work with a few, Robert. You're working with one right now in Tampa. They actually a lot of times have a disadvantage because they have so many locations to pay attention to. They can't pay attention to any one of them, and therefore a lot of times the local businesses, that the mom and pops that live, eat, and breathe this, they eat they eat their lunch. They literally spend the time. They have the small meetings. They get the staff involved. They get their army of people asking for reviews, and they just flat out get a ton more reviews, and they get a lot more business as a result. That's just the way that it works.
So if a person was to go out there, let's say they had a list, because people do list building or things like that, and they wanted to link something, because this is what I did in the past a lot of times. I would ask for, after I did it in real estate. And when I was a realtor, afterwards, the company mailed them their little survey form to get mailed back and all that stuff.
Right.
But then what I used to do was I used to email out and ask for them if on LinkedIn or a social media site, would they put a testimonial, we called them, instead of a review, which technically is the same thing.
It is.
What would be better for people to do? I mean, because it's not like you can give a list of 3 or 4 things and say, could you leave testimonials on all of them? Is it better to use the Yelp and the big boys and the stuff like that? Or is it good to try to get them to do social media and that?
Okay, so the first thing I want to identify is the fact that you use their email list. That's a strategy that we implement. We combine that with this concern that you have about, well, which directory do we send people to, and because I think that's your main question is which directory do we focus on to get reviews on? Is it Is it LinkedIn? Is it Yelp? Is it Google? Is it Bing? Is it Yahoo, etc.?
And for realtors, is it Zillow? Is it Trulia? Is it Realtor.com? You know what I'm saying? There's so many to choose from.
Well, that's why I started with what I did, Robert, because I get this question a lot. And this is why we've built what we call a sign-in form, whereby we send an email out to their list. We import their entire list, and we send an email out to their entire list with a link to what we call a sign-in form. And we ask them, we say, hey, in the email, if you wouldn't mind, we only get our next customer based on how we treat our current customers. And so we're asking our current customers like you to leave us a review. It'll take less than 10 to maybe 30 seconds. So if you'll click on the link below, you can leave us a review in less than 30 seconds. They click on the link, it takes them on their smartphone. By the way, we're texting and emailing this link. This is the power of it. They're getting the link, they're clicking on it on their smartphone, on their desktop, wherever they're at, via email or text. It says, hey, would you leave a review for the business, or would you recommend the business? If they say yes, then they get to leave a review on one of the 3 directories, and you can choose which. And the ones that we choose to answer your question is the one that they've got the worst reputation on. So we address that one first, and we put that as the top directory, and we let them leave the review only if they say that they would recommend the business. So we stack the deck in the favor of the business. If they click no, then they leave what we call feedback. And that feedback is only for our eyes and the customer's eyes. So it goes directly to, and it says, okay, this is for feedback to go directly to the owner of the company, who was involved, what happened, and how can we make it better. And when they have to answer 3 questions, and those results go, that feedback, it's not a review, something that goes live on Google or Yelp where other people in the public can see it. A feedback is just going to the owner of the business. So we dichotomize the review gathering business by actually saying, okay, these are reviews going to the online directories for the public, and these are feedbacks going to the business, the owner, so that they can actually make the changes that I was suggesting earlier.
I like that. Yeah, now, what do you do? Because a lot of people, and the reason I had contacted you in the beginning, I was talking to you about a specific person that had a problem with one of the companies, and that was more on their sales side, which is a completely different thing. But what do you do when you get bad reviews on the public sites? What is the best
thing? Bad reviews. Okay.
What is the best thing the company can do about it, knowing it's there?
Okay. So the best thing that a company can do, and I'll use a business one of the businesses that we consult with. So recently they had some bad reviews, and they came to us. They're like, Ryan, what the heck did we do? It was his ex-wife who was trashing him and signing up for fake accounts. It was one of the worst situations that I'd ever seen. And he said, Ryan, have you ever seen this? And I'm like, I've seen it all. This is not the first. It's not going to be the last. And so this kind of stuff happens. It doesn't even have to be an ex-wife. It could just be a legitimate customer that's ticked off and leaves a review on Google, on Yelp, on Bing, on Yahoo, because they're they're just pissed. And so they're going to leave it everywhere. So what do you do? Well, the first thing that I do, and what I suggested to them is first and foremost, if it, and you can get the terms of service on Yelp, on Google, if it's derogatory, if it's somebody that obviously has not experienced your business or actually gotten your service, it can be flagged. If it's derogatory, it can be flagged. If it's defamatory, there's like 2 or 3 other reasons why a review you can flag it, they'll review it, and within 48 hours, they'll get back to you and they'll just remove it. Just flat out remove it. Now, that's the first step, okay? The second step is if that doesn't work, if it's not derogatory, if it's not defamatory, if it is a real review, and so on and so forth, and it doesn't, and Google or Yelp or Bing or Yahoo or whoever that you flag the review for, a real review and it needs to stay on, then you go directly to that person, you contact them, and you just flat out have a conversation with them and say, hey, and I would, if it's a real person, just say, hey, how do how do we resolve this? Like, just have a conversation with them. That's the only, it's just, I mean, it sounds simple, but it works 75% of the time. Look, and I'm just going to get real here. If you've got let's just look at the data. Let's look at the facts, okay? If I've got a 4-star reputation and I've only got 7 reviews and I've got 1 bad review, and that's the reason why I don't have a 5-star and I've got a 4-star, because I've only got 7 reviews, how much business am I going to lose over the next year if I've got $1 million business? And we know that Harvard study said that basically if you just increase your star rating by 1 star, you get a corresponding 10%, up to 10% including anything else. That means that I would lose $100,000 in my business because of that 1 review. How much are you, Robert, willing to actually let go of in order to get that, in order to make that wrong right? How much, if you know you're going to lose $100,000, and I know people that have lost millions of dollars because of 1, 2, maybe 3 1-star reviews. How much, I mean, is it worth it if that, let me ask you this. Here's a more poignant question for you. If let's say you need to give up as a realtor, maybe half of your commission in order to get that person to either remove, which they can do, or to increase the star rating of that review, would you be willing to give up $5,000 to potentially make $100,000 every year?
It's kind of a no-brainer,
right?
In my mind,
right? No, it is. It isn't to me. But here's the problem: is that a lot of people are emotionally attached to the reviews. They get so sucked into the emotion of it, and as a result, they lose perspective, and because they want to be right, they end up losing thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of dollars. That's been my experience, and that's the way that it works.
It kind of boils back to, if you think about it, it's I hate to say the catchphrase, the customer is always right, but
right.
If the customer is really that unhappy, this is what it boils down to.
Yeah.
And then you go back to the old, where Tom Hopkins and all these guys from the past said the old 50-250 rule. Do you want to have one person out there telling 50 people how amazing of a person you are, that you can sell the house, and you have the best restaurant in town, and you have this and you have that?
Yep.
Or do you want to have 250 people being told they're shitheads?
Yeah.
Don't go to them, because negativity spreads a hell of a lot faster than the positive.
Well, and that's another reason. I'm just saying, it just, in my opinion, and I've seen this time and time again, the customers that have actually swallowed their pride, picked the phone up, made the call, made the perceived wrong right, or not, the customer, if they've actually taken the stance that the customer's always right and given them what they've wanted, even if it meant, I mean, I hate to say it, I don't want to go into say, like letting people blackmail you. There's definitely a fine line there. What I am saying, I'm not saying, let the customer take advantage of you. I am saying if there's some validity at all in what they're saying, long term, it makes sense to give them what they want, and in order to make the perceived wrong right, so that you can win out in the end, even if it means going the extra mile, or doing something that maybe you even feel a little bit uncomfortable doing, as long as it's legally, ethically, and morally right, and you feel right about it in your gut. It might feel like your ego's damaged a little bit or whatever, but hey, is it worth it? I mean, logically, is it worth it to give up $5,000 in order to make $100,000 year after year after year? I do my best to convince my clients and even myself to swallow my pride sometimes and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to pick the phone up. I'm going to call him, make the wrong right, and move on. And that's 9 times out of 10 the best way to do it.
Yeah, no, it makes 100%. Now, how important do you feel? Because, obviously we talked about Yelp and all the sites and stuff. I mean, even Angie's List, that's what it was based on, recommendations. And that's how they built up basically a Yelp version that's a little different. But how important are the recommendations and the reviews on the social sites then?
Well,
Like the
I mean, look,
LinkedIn's and the Facebook review of the pages and.
well, look, I mean, Facebook and Facebook has even made changes in the past week. They now are going to have locations on your ads. Like you can actually, they're becoming more like Google, and you can see that Facebook is making that shift into becoming more of they're catering more to that local business need, and that finding of local businesses, almost becoming like a Google, in the sense that they're making it very easy for you to identify the businesses that are close to you, just like Google's done. Look, in the beginning, Google, it was all over the place. You do a search, there was no maps, there was nothing 4 or 5 years ago. Now there's only 3 businesses now on the maps, but they're all local to your location. They're triangulating exactly where you're at, and whether you put in your city or not, they're finding you. Facebook has become more like Google, and Google is becoming more like Facebook. Google's trying to become more social, and Facebook is trying to become more local. Facebook is trying to become more search friendly. Their search box stinks, but it's nowhere near Google on Facebook. However, you bring up a good point. Angie's List is a directory. Make no mistake about it. Angie's List now is free. Had to be a member of Angie's List. That just changed.
$34.99,
which is a very smart thing, because they're just shooting themselves in the foot to think that they were going to be like just one-off, like, and charge everybody to have it. No, nobody's going to. That's not. There's too many other options out there for people to find businesses quickly and easily with great reviews. So they're smart making that change. My opinion is, an example, Yelp's kind of is in the middle. They're a little bit social, they're a little bit search like Google, and they're both, and that's really what Facebook is social, yet make no mistake about it, it's a very powerful directory. And by directory, I mean a place you can go to in order to find information about local businesses and SMBs, small to medium-sized businesses. And so I don't really consider Facebook is a very solid directory. 3 years ago, not so much. I would not have considered them. It was all social. Now they've made a very good, solid transition, in my opinion, to become a very solid, very formidable directory with Facebook pages, obviously for businesses, etc. And hopefully now LinkedIn has not made a very good transition to that. Not many businesses have adopted the LinkedIn pages, that LinkedIn for business. And I look at LinkedIn as really being only a place for people to get reviews as an individual, as a person, for me to be able to market myself to get a new job, or for other people to maybe hire me as a consultant. It's not a place to leave a review for a business, in my opinion.
It's more about an individual in a company.
Yeah, in that sense, I would really position LinkedIn as a social platform more so than a directory in that sense. I don't look at LinkedIn as being a directory in any sense of the word, really. Not yet, at least. They have not made the shift and the changes that a Facebook or Yelp or any of the other directories have made.
So do you think getting people to write the reviews on your Facebook page are going to become more important as time goes on?
Yes, I think the big 3 are this. For any business, it's Google first, it's Facebook second, and Yelp third, and then and depending, now that's just in general for any and all SMBs. Now, having said that, like I said earlier, there's specific directories that are very important, and actually it depends on your specific situation. That's just a generalized. If I didn't have, put it this way, if I didn't have any reviews on any directories, I would get reviews in that order. It would be Google, Facebook, Yelp. Okay, that's how it would start. Now, having said that, if I was an attorney, I would go for Google, get the 10 reviews there. I would get a good solid 10 reviews on Facebook and Yelp, and then I would go for Avo, however you want to say it. And like for a dentist or a doctor, it might be ZocDoc, it might be WebMD, it might be but it
depends on the industry that you're in.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. It also, but now the caveat is this: if I had a lot of bad reviews on ZocDoc, I would focus on ZocDoc first, and thank God our system allows us to specifically, when somebody says yes, I would leave a review for this business, or I would recommend this business, we actually make it so that the top option for them when after they click on yes is ZocDoc, and then below that, or we can make it only ZocDoc if they've actually had that app open. We can identify when they've had that app open on their phone, and we just go right to the one that actually had the app open or has an active session on that app. And that's how our system works. It's a very smart system, and it's very dynamic.
Well, it's kind of like if you're a realtor in the residential side, you may want some of these reviews on Zillow and Trulia.
Yeah.
Or Realtor.com. It depends. It depends, because there are realtors that work with Zillow. There's some that work with Trulia. There's some that don't use either one of them. It all depends. So yeah, no, it's interesting because reputation management, I think, is one of the areas that entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, mompreneurs, small businesses, all these things that are lacking knowledge of, one, and two, don't look at really that much. They might say, oh, if you could write a review for me, that's wonderful on Facebook, blah, blah, blah. But they're not looking at a bigger picture of searchable recommendation, searchable reputation.
They don't. First of all, my experience, Robert, is that first of all, they don't even know about it. Like, I just had up the other day, and it was because of a recommendation from another client of mine. That's how I get all my business. And the reason why he called me is because he was aware of it, because he had no reviews, and people were coming in and saying, hey, I was coming in, and honestly, I almost didn't come in because you had no reviews. You had no reputation, which sometimes is actually as bad as having a bad reputation, having no reviews, by the way. And so that's what made him ultra aware of it. Like that, unfortunately, or somebody coming in and saying, look, dentist, I almost didn't come in because you actually had a 1-star reputation, and I was on my way here. And by the way, your reviews show up on Google Maps and the iPhone maps. Which reviews, by the way, Robert, do you think show up on the iPhone map?
Yelp?
Yes. Which reviews do you think show up on the Google Maps app?
Well, just the Googles.
Yes. So when somebody is searching for your business,
I'm so glad I got
go to the maps, and they go to the maps and they search for your business, what do you think shows up right next to the directions for your business?
The stars. What star rating you have.
Exactly. So do you think that if you have a 1-star reputation and you're a dentist, and by the way, I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have the Google or the iPhone Maps app in order to find a new bit, like in order to find my way around. So do you think people, when they're new, exactly the moment when somebody is brand new to your practice, when they have no knowledge of what you're going to do, what you're going to bring them, they might have been referred, they pick the phone up, they set up an appointment, but they didn't look at your reputation. But when they're just before, 30 minutes before they get to you, they look you up because they're trying to find out how to get there, and they see that you got a 1-star rating. Do you think they're going to be a little tainted when they come in there, and they're going to maybe have a little bit different mindset?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, they're going to be like, well, they're going to be like, this is a 1-star dentist. So they're going to have that expectation. And that's the lenses they're going to see the experience through when they get to your location. And quite frankly, businesses are not even aware of this fact yet. They're not even aware of it.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's kind of like walking into a restaurant that looks like a really, really nice restaurant, and it's dinner time. I'm going to you throw that one in there, and there's nobody there eating. Your first, you look around, it's like, a Thursday night at 6:30, and you walk into a place and there's nobody there eating. What's wrong here?
Right. And whereas if you are on your way there and you see, for example, that they've got a 5-star reputation and 150 5-star reviews, you're like, it's like there's a line out the door. They've got that expectation going in that this is a hot place. Like this, it totally shifts the expectation, and suddenly you're seeing things, and this is just it's like the placebo effect. I mean, unfortunately, like like reality, like this is the reality of it. I mean, basically it's like somebody's taking a placebo and then, oh yeah, well they get a whole different experience because they took the blue pill instead of the red pill, and they saw that you had basically the equivalent of them saying that you've got 100. It positively taints their entire experience versus negatively tainting.
Well, I'll take it a step further. If you know that somebody's got these huge amounts of 5-star reviews,
yeah,
and again, I'll put it towards a real estate person. If I know I'm going to talk to this person and I contact them about listing my house, and he's got 150 or more reviews at 5 stars or more,
right?
Am I going to object or question him more than I would the 1-star guy?
Right.
In other words, now all of a sudden, some of your objectives in a sales position may not be as hard because there's so much about you out there saying this amazing stuff. He did everything he said he was going to do. He did. He did this.
Right.
This. Now it's like,
well, here, and that's a great segue to I think what is great to wrap this up with, Robert, and it's the concept. And we're shifting now into the concept of reputation, going from reputation management to reputation marketing. Okay. So now, are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So now we're having a conversation about leveraging those 5-star reviews now. Instead of just getting reviews, we're leveraging them to get more business. So this is where the fun starts happening. Once you get the 5-star reviews, that's when the real fun starts happening, because then we can build the culture with not just, but also, and what we can do now is we can build the culture with the salespeople and say, okay, sales guys, now we've got 155-star reviews. Let's leverage these reviews. And when you're closing the business, leverage them and say, hey, you know what? Don't trust me. Let's go on our smartphone right now. Like, let's look and see what other people are saying about us.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at our 5-star, let's look at our reputation. And then you go to Google, and do you think that's going to help the salespeople close some business?
Big time.
Yeah. So that's the marketing, that's the fun, that's the reputation marketing side, building the culture with it. The other thing that we do that's automatic in our system is that we actually take the reviews and we create what are called customer review videos out of them, where we use a spokesmodel, we use a technology. We literally put our spokesmodel basically in via green screen in the front of your office. If you give us a nice picture,
mm-hmm.
and we superimpose the review behind our spokesmodel, and it's the textual review that's on whatever, on Yelp, on Bing, on Yahoo, and people can read the review. It's introed with our primetime graphics and our spokesmodel with the green screen and them in your office, and we create a 45 second to a minute long video for every 5-star review, and that goes on YouTube, and it also goes to every social media site, because one of the things that I like to say is only as good as the number of people that see it. I mean, what's the point in getting a bunch of 5-star reviews if nobody knows they exist? So we take it even one step further, and we actually take what are called review images, where we take a snapshot, we superimpose it with our primetime graphics again, and we take those snapshots and we post them once a week to Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Twitter, and the top 7 social media sites. So we're creating videos out of them, blast them on Daily Motion, on YouTube, etc. And we're creating review images out of them, and we're posting them to all the social media sites. And then what we're doing is we're posting those reviews to your website. Because remember, 30% of people go to your website after they go look at your reviews on the directories. Okay, 60% of people go to the directories first, 30% go to your website. So we want those 5-star reviews to be posted right at the top, top posted right when they go live within 24 hours. And we do that for you so that we're adequately hitting on all angles to effectively market your business with your reputation and with your reviews.
Mm-hmm.
So
and it's funny you mention that, because with the whole switch over now that Facebook is doing to business pages, I don't know if you've seen the new look of the new business page that's out there now.
Yep.
It kind of looks like a website.
Yep.
Literally, on the top left side, right under the cover photo, the top box is the review box. And it shows how many stars you have. That is the first thing that's up there.
Yep, and that's why I'm saying Facebook is becoming more like a searchable local business directory, and that's exactly what they've done with that change. So,
why I'm very happy with my 4.9.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome, and that's what I want. I want people to see all of our 5-star reviews as well, front and center. And in addition, we also, as a company, we've got 10 components in our reputation management and our reputation marketing system. 5 for reputation management, 5 for reputation marketing, and we even create what's called a review summary report, so that you can effectively talk to your team about what's happening on each one of the directories. You can track the time, you can see what individual reviews have come in, and you can have an effective meeting with your team with this summary report, in addition to us posting the reviews on your website within 48 hours, all the 5-star reviews, in addition to us creating customer review videos, in addition to creating customer review images to your social and posting them to your social media sites. I mean, we do 6 other things that effectively help you get more reviews and market those reviews so that you get more business. So it's not a real sexy ROI type marketing. It does take time. It's more of a lead conversion strategy as opposed to a lead generation strategy, but it works. And the businesses that stick with it for at least 2 to 3 months will gain the benefits of it for years to come. So
where can people, because I know we're wrapped up on time here, where can people get a hold of you and talk to you maybe about
if you want to get a hold of me, you can call me on my cell. I mean, 561-309-0050. Call me up, text me. Again, 561-309-0050, or you can go to our website, accelerateyourmarketing.com. You can find me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/livestream Ryan. You can find me on Snapchat at Ryan Steinolfson, and everywhere else is my full name. If you type in Ryan Steinolfson, STEINOLFSON, you can find me pretty much anywhere online, on Periscope, on Facebook, on Snapchat, you name it, Instagram. You can find me there.
Sounds good. All right, I thank you for coming on and explaining that all, because I think it's going to be beneficial for everybody to understand. I mean, this is part of our future. It's been starting already, but it's going to get bigger and bigger, the reputations.
Yeah, it's funny because now it's becoming a standard, and it's fun to see it grow, and to see it have grown over the past 5 years is really fun, and it's becoming more of a central point of what we're doing for all of our customers. And let me know if you have any other questions, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Ryan, thanks a lot for coming on, and everybody, and we will definitely see you guys again on another Conversation Live. Take care.
All right, thank you, Robert. Thanks for having me on.
Take care.